What's going on, YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yocrates. This is your review for Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 15, Episode 2. I'm going to do this review a little bit differently than how I normally do it. I'm not taking notes. It's been a week, so I'm going to kind of do, pause, record, that type thing. So pick up where we left off with Kandi wanting the headbutt old girl. And her whole thing is, like, she keeps bucking in my face. Like, that is the problem. You have Sonya talking to Courtney and pretty much letting her know, like, in essence, yeah, you kind of just made this thing go left. You doing just a little bit too much. Sheree has summoned Martell, and that right there, I'm iffy about it. I really am. Just in general, like, the conversation it could have stayed between the ladies, but again, the person in question is there, so yeah, whatever. But they say that apparently he's seeing somebody else. He says he's not, so okay, cool. That probably should have been the end of it. You have Marlo in her confessional saying that Courtney and Kandi are being Mariah and J-Lo, like, I don't know her, and then her earring fell off in her. Did I say confession? I meant interview. Same difference, but not really. And she's like, ooh, my earring must not know me. I chuckled. So Sonya goes over to Kandi to talk, and Kandi just like, she keep bucking in my face. It's a problem. When they're already close together, and it is a problem. You feel me? Like, you doing a bit much. Sonya even says, like, I told her she doing a bit too much. And, I just met her like a week ago at Sheree's. And again, look, y'all, Kandi an Earth sign. I know about it. Okay. And Kandi says something, and I know this has been the talk of social media. And it's the whole thing of, like, y'all not friends. So she doesn't have to give you a heads up, this, that, and the third. And you're expecting too much. And da-da-da-da-da. And look, they are getting to know each other outside of this show. But I understand where Kandi is coming from. Like, if we cool, or at least this circle that we have, if you know somebody got an issue with me, and you know this person is coming here, you ain't gonna sit here and give me a heads up like, hey, whoop, whack the bam. And here's the other thing, because I know a lot of people's whole thing is, like, as adults and grown people, you don't need nobody to defend you, this, that, and third. And here's what I would say. To an extent, that is true. But see, I'm that type of person where I do believe anybody that will carry a bone will take a bone. Now, you have some people that will sit there and just let a person talk and get all the information and whatnot and do with it what they will. I'm the type of person where I'm going to ask you, like, if you come to me saying, yeah, because so-and-so said this and this and this and this, I'm going to ask you, so what did you say? Because if you didn't say anything, but you bringing me a bone back, like, it makes me question you. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to defend me. But if we cool and this is getting a little spicy, you could easily try to shift the conversation or remove yourself. Case in point, like I said, I am cool with people that ain't cool with somebody. And we all went on the trip. We all grown. Damn it, they was older than me. And they got to talk, and I'm like, hey, y'all know I'm cool with so-and-so. Like, could y'all please not do this? And they continue to do it. I can't stop, grown people. And it was actually more than those two other occasions and whatnot. I can't tell grown people what to do or say. But what I can do is I can remove myself. So when the conversation resumed, I removed myself. And it happened several more times on this trip that I was on. And I would just remove myself. Because my thing is, like, that does make me feel uncomfortable. But again, I can't. If you want to sit here and talk about somebody, you can. But how is that going to look, me sitting there while you doing it? You feel me? Especially if I go back to that person like, yeah, because so-and-so and so-and-so said this and this. And like, nah. So, yeah. And what else? So, Sonya then went and told Sheree and them, because they was like, well, Kandi is pretty much getting ready to leave, so obviously they have to go there. Sonya then went and changed her dress, so she joins them. Marlo says that she's the only one that's behaving and she's appalled. Therapy works, ma'am. Don't. And let's be clear, the only reason that your behavior is different in these first 2 episodes, because I ain't got to episode 3 yet, is more than likely because Andy pulled you to the side and told you did too much last year and you need to bring it back just a little bit if you really want to stay on this show. That's what it was. Okay, so to wrap up the party, so the ladies are all together. And they first want to know what happened with Courtney and Candy. And Candy says, we don't have to relive it right now. Earth sign energy. Love it. But at the same exact time, baby, y'all know I'm a Capricorn. And again, I'm the one where, look, I'm cool, but if we go in there, I'm taking it way too far. You feel me? But I can appreciate, like, it's the whole time and place thing. And I know Candy felt that she felt herself slipping. Businesswoman. I get it. So, yeah, we can revisit this later. So then we move over to the whole Kenya Martell thing. Now, Kenya did say, like, he messed me. It was, like, more than 6 months ago. And this is one of those things where you really do have to really pay attention to what somebody said and just not the pieces that you want to hear. Because she did say it was more than 6 months or, like, over 6 months ago, something like that. But her saying 6 months does make it seem like it was relatively close. But she even said it was before you. So she wants to see the message. And then there's no message. And then, of course, you know, Martell wanted to see there's nothing there. Now, when he first came over, she did say that he was being aggressive. I don't believe that he was. But again, I'm not Kenya. I don't have. Now, and look, sometimes people's experiences causes them to see and feel things that others may not. In that moment, I don't believe that he was being aggressive. But she has watched Love and Marriage Huntsville. She knows his demeanor and has seen his character over the course of what, 4, 5, 6 seasons? I don't know what season they on right now. So maybe she was peeping, you know, the calm before the storm that was about to come. I don't think that he was being aggressive in that moment. I don't. Again, I don't. And y'all know I call things out of y'all. And he's a Capricorn that we need to return to sender. He needs another zodiac. He can't be with us. But anyway. But he is stuck on, and again, this is what people do, 6 months. And that is his whole thing. Like, I didn't do that. And then he actually does pull out his phone. Well, I'm sorry. He walks away, and he's kind of, at this point, he does have an attitude. And I got it. He feels that he's being lied on. And Kenya technically wasn't lying on him. Timeline, alright, cool. He then comes back over, and in the manner in which he came back over, yes, that was aggressive to me. And then not only does he have his phone, he is putting his phone not only in Kenya's face, but in Candy's face. And Candy's whole thing is, I don't need to see it, because though there is only one message on your phone, it don't mean you didn't delete anything else that might have been there. Plus, when Kenya showed the phone, she never accepted the message, so there was nothing for her to delete. So him lying and even say, I didn't DM her, but to come back and say, oh, well, I guess I did, but it was 2 years ago. So, sir, you're lying too. And all this energy and all this smoke you got, like, bruh, you doing, and I get it. I do get it, where if you feel that you're being lied on, and we could possibly throw, them drinking and whatnot, but there is a way to have a bit of a civil conversation. And if you feel that you're not in a place where you can have it, because trust when I say, I've been drunk many times, and conversations get to happen, and I feel myself slipping, and I disengage right quick before it goes too far. And I like to revisit it when I'm much cooler, sober, the whole nine. But the energy that he gave off, yeah, very aggressive. Now, initially when she called him aggressive, no. After that, yes. And then he walks off saying something along the lines of, if I was trying to F you so many years ago, then whatever. And then Kenya, now I will say, Kenya, I felt you was reaching with this too. Did you curse at me? There's a difference between somebody using a sentence enhancer to enhance a sentence and then directing it towards you. Because he said, if I was trying to F you, it's just in the sentence. He didn't call you a effing what, you know what I'm saying? So, but again, already on go. And Kenya decided to follow after him. In that moment, she was being aggressive towards him. Just keeping it a buck. But again, it started, can't go nowhere but up from here. And she says, I'm a queen, this, that, and third. You will not disrespect me. And then start cursing at him. So, but again, we always got to remember, let's start at the beginning, never in the middle. All right. Okay, so we pick back up with Drew because I had to pause right before they start talking about Ross's party, but I do feel the way that Ralph, wasn't with his wife in Chicago, seeing her father. He's in a nursing home. She said that he went in walking and he's no longer walking, was just sitting in the wheelchair, wasn't talking to anybody, just off to himself. Which, unfortunately, with some care facilities, it is like that, where they just kind of leave the elderly unattended. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. She even said that, she knows her mother's going through it, but her mother, I'm sorry, she had a breakdown while she was there. Her mother joined. They played a song that she has of her singing, and even said with his Alzheimer's that he doesn't always recognize her, but he recognizes her singing voice. And when he heard the song, he perked up and then realized, like, oh, that's my daughter. And it is sad. It really is. And like I said, I'm a caretaker. Caregiver, whatever you want to call it. So, like, I know that realm and I know how that is. So, it can be a little nerve-wracking and whatnot, But, they segue into music and her saying that, even though she is an actress, music was always first. And that, there's been many failed attempts and it's, reduced her confidence. So, she just needs to get ready. And she released a song wearing the dress that she wore when she was at the reunion. But with her husband on the cover of yeah. And the song was both written and produced by him, which, Drew, if you write music, why? I'm not, maybe the song that he wrote was better than what you might have wanted to put out. But for those of y'all who don't know, it is the songwriters and the producers that tend to get the majority of the royalties and all the other stuff. So, got her singing in the background. But all right, yeah. So there's that. He's trying to help nurture the gift. And in her in her interview, they ask her, like, is she happy or whatnot? And I'm looking at her eyes because it's not always true, but typically when somebody's trying to recall, they look to the left. When someone is lying, they look to the right. And for most of it, she was just like her talking about being happy and whatnot, and them focusing on music makes them not have to focus on their issues, deflection. Well, I'm sorry, not deflection, but avoidance. But she's looking to the left. She's recalling. But when they asked her about being like happy, she and she looked to the right and said, "Oh, this is the happiest that we've been in 8 years." Okay, Drew, stop lying, man. So we end the Drew and Ralph segment with obviously talking about the Ross party, finding out that Courtney is his cousin. Now, is that really your cousin, or is that your buddy that you call your cousin? Anyway, none of my business. But yeah, and it was the whole thing. They laughed it off. Even talked about Candy wanting to headbutt somebody. Yeah. Speaking of Candy, we have her and Sonya. They're having I want to say this is lunch, maybe Lenter, lunch or dinner. They talk about well, you have Sonya bringing up the Disney trip, where I feel like it was somewhat diminished because she says that Candy invited everyone of the cast, but she was the only one to respond. But then Candy even says outside of the show, she has been, getting to know Sonya one-on-one, and they have been hanging out independent of the group, and not just that one particular trip. Sonya talks about her family woes because Candy asks about the family, and she pretty much says that, my husband wants people gone. He wants to just be us, and she's torn because she wants everybody there. Because her mom went to Florida, came back and says, yeah, I want to stay there. My heart's there. And for what it's worth, her sister wants to move too. So it's one of those where she wants all of them there. And if this is truly a real thing, because again, at this point in me watching reality TV, I have to question what is and what isn't real, but I'm here for the ride. It seems more or less that she wants all these people in her house, and it's not really them wanting to be there because she moved all of them there to help her. And it seems almost as if you don't want to either be at home by yourself or you need help raising your one child, or maybe you just don't want to be at home alone with your husband. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. Okay, so now we turn to Candy. Candy talk about her and Todd and how, Todd wants her to, give so much and all this other stuff. And I really just need to see these two just have the conversation so I can really gauge what it is that's going on. But part of what I'm gathering is he's not conveying exactly what he needs from her. It's just, I need your help, but you're not giving specifics, so it's hard to really kind of like hone in on like what I need to give. Again, I don't know, but there's that. So then Sonya asked her how she felt about the party. We know how she felt about the party. Like, she had a good time up until a point. And then you have Sonya explaining, some of what was being said when she met up with, Sheree and Courtney was there. And then I guess they were both at a place or whatever, and Candy shared that place on her social media, and Courtney said the very next week the ghetto came. So Candy took that as, oh, she called me ghetto, and Sonya said no, she didn't call you ghetto, okay? But Candy wanted to know, okay, so what did you say? What did you say to defend me? And I've already alluded to all of this earlier, so I don't have to go back down that road. But Candy did want her to defend her. And I know some people feel like you grown, this and third. But again, like, if we cool, it just is what it is. And on some real, like, if we're building something, and this person, Courtney, who you don't know from, a can of paint, you don't know from Adam, is sitting here coming for me like that, and you ain't saying nothing to defend me, I got it. You in her friend Sheree's house, but you just gonna let somebody sit here and attempt to run down on me and you say nothing, baby. Look, I tell y'all all the time, my cutoff game is super strong. And I say it all the time. You don't believe me? If y'all know my peoples, ask those that I'm related to. They will let you know it don't matter. I would go radio silent on anybody. I told y'all I ain't talked to my daddy for a whole good 2 years after he decided he was gonna cuss me out. Okay, all right. He felt that silence. He felt that distance. I don't play them games. No, sir. No, ma'am. No green eggs, no ham. We don't do that. No. But Candy whole thing is, okay, she know that she wasn't defended. And, she has to watch her. And it's, yeah, you do. But at the same exact time, Candy, if you know that Sonya is hanging out with Sheree and Marlo, and I mean, hanging out, especially what you saw last season, you already know what it is. So don't get too close. Okay, so at one point we get Sonya video FaceTiming Ross because he's in I believe Austin, Texas. He's in Texas, but I believe she said Austin. Because their business, their business is down there. And of course, baby number 2 is a whole thing. And she's like, how are we going to do this when you're there? And look, let me tell y'all, I'm not doing the baby storyline. I'm not talking about it. And it's the whole thing of, I know this is what he wants, but she's risking herself, her body, her life. And at the same exact time, if you are not physically here while I'm taking care of Deuce, and you're constantly back and forth from, Austin, Texas, but you want a baby girl, that ain't how this works. But again, that's her body, that's her marriage, that's her life. I'm just letting y'all know, we ain't talking about that. So if that's all she giving us, now the family thing, we can talk about the family being there. I'm not talking about this baby plot. So then we get Candy and Blaze with Todd. He wants to, they're revamping the menu because, it was popping. Well, it's in the urban, places in the urban area. Things were popping before the pandemic. Pandemic happened, then, things ain't so good. He wants to redo the menu, so they're going to take some of the food there. And we also hear Todd saying that he wants to do a Taco Tuesday joint. and then after that he wants to do a pizza joint. And she, well, Candy even said like it seemed like it's pretty much a money grab. He pretty much says, yeah, but I'm making money through this venture, and I can stack the money to do this. But what kind of gets me is in you saying that, especially on camera, it may keep people from wanting to come because where is the passion? And we all understand. A lot of people start businesses and whatnot that they're not passionate about, but they're making money off of it, so that's what it is. But you never really want to say that because it's not a good look. Though I do understand it. And him taking money from, the restaurant to fund his movies and whatnot, his movie endeavors, is what a lot of people do, where they will take money from one source and use that to fund something else without having necessarily take out loans and all this other stuff. So it's understandable. But what's the problem with, incorporating, Mexican type food into one of your restaurants and see how that works there and then branch off? Now with the pizza thing, all they gotta do is find like a little college area or like a college area in Atlanta and open up one right there, decent, decently priced and whatnot. Oh, you gonna make bank. But again, if you want to do this, he might want to hire somebody to pretty much that is a chef or whatever. Like let them run it, and you just, because at this point, if you just want to financially back it, but have somebody else run it and you do that, cool. But it's not a good look, Todd. Just saying. And then Candy's cousin is there, the one who had got shot. And the producer even stepped in and said, so we're not going to address the elephant in the room. And they like, no, because it's still a legal situation, even though she lets us know in her interview exactly what it is. Just, just the general thing. And that's just, I think it's Melvin, kitchen manager. One of the workers were late, came in intoxicated. They had some words, went outside. Next thing you know, her cousin got shot. And you don't want that associated with your business. I'm gonna say this, Candy. If you did not want to talk about it, it's one of those things where, and I get it, but it's almost like you put him in this scene wearing a sling and you expect no one to say anything. I get it. I'm just saying it's just the optics of it, right? And all of the women in their interviews just saying, like, you never really want something like that associated with your business. You don't. And then Sheree says, we don't know. We're going to get a biscuit or a bullet when we go to one of Candy's establishments. Now, look, a lot of people said that was distasteful. Look, I like dark humor, and I'm here for shade of any kind. I laughed. Now, was it distasteful? Yes. Did I laugh? Yes. Not going to lie. Okay, so we have a split scene. So we have a scene with Kenya with her friend. I'm not writing stuff down, so please forgive me if I mess up her name. But I think it's Akila, and they have their daughters. They're playing tennis. It's really, really cute. Really, really cute. And they have a good friendship and whatnot. Even though Kenya's going through divorce, she says to her friends, like, I'm envious of what you have. But her friend's like, but you've been happy, lately because of who she's with, or who she's seeing, I should say. We don't want to put labels, I guess. And trying to see, was there anything else before we split to the other? No. So then we get Sonya and Sheree. So Sheree is now a glam ma instead of a grandma, which again, all of that is so stupid to me because grand is, greater than life, grandioso, all other stuff. But of course, whatever, you a glam ma, whatever. But she's happy, this and the third, cool, whatever. And then they talk about Sonya's party for her husband. She says there was no budget, but there were. You just went over, but whatever the case. Then, what's her name? Sonya talks about her meeting with Candy and whatnot. Because again, it seemed like you have to run back and tell that, Sonya. But okay, I don't trust you. I'm here. And then, they actually talk about the party. And then you have Sheree saying, because they both say, yeah, the word aggressive, because, she used that with Ross. Okay, whatever. And look, we all can agree. Look, we can disagree on how we all felt with that situation and whatnot, right? Okay. Because I do feel like Ross was, being a tad bit aggressive. I'm not gonna lie, because what he gave last, it wasn't necessary given the moment. Wasn't nobody finna get up and whoop on his wife and whatnot, and they were doing housewife banter. That is what That's what part of this show is, which you will see after that. They kept him away from those scenes with the ladies. Let the ladies do what the ladies do. But yeah, he was being a little bit, okay, and some people felt that, well, that's what you do, you defend your wife. Okay, yeah, whatever. Anyway, and then you have Sheree doing the whole thing of, we can't keep putting this stigma on black men. And I'm like, okay, let's not do that. Please, let's not do that. Because it seemed like y'all are really trying to make Kenya out to be a certain way, and I would not be surprised if one of them mentions the fact that Kenya's current boo is not black. I wouldn't be surprised if that's not the next thing that we hear. Anyway, Kenya is retelling that whole story as well, and her friend is like, so he really came at you like that? And yeah, he did, because that's kind of what he gives on his show. So, trying to see, is there anything else? No, we get Ralph and Drew in the studio. Yeah, okay. So, we end the episode with Sheree and Kenya having a conversation. So, well, first, before we get there, this warehouse, I ain't believing it. I'm not believing this is all she by Sheree. I'm sorry, I'm not believing that. And then her complaining about, a shirt and whatnot being wrinkled, like almost like you don't want to pay for the service. And it was like, oh, we would love to steam it so it wouldn't come looking like that. Oh, is that going to cost extra? Yeah. Yeah, she ain't paying. Anyway, so Kenya comes there, is being very supportive. Talks about her doing a commercial with DirecTV. I believe it was DirecTV, where it was her, Kyle Richards, Teresa Giudice, that whole partnership thing. Because again, Kenya, she's that girl. So they talk about that, and then we get to talking about Kenya's boo thing, if you will. Can't say boyfriend. And then, it is what it is. So then she brings up, Martell and Sheree, and there's no labels there. They're just dating. So then they talk about the event. And, well, look, since the panel already happened, I guess we can attempt to go back and forth in the comments. But Kenya's whole thing is, he was cursing at her. Now, based off of what they showed us, I didn't get that. And you have Sheree saying that you need to be held accountable for what you did. And again, let's keep it up. Let's start at the beginning. Kenya and Manetta pull Sheree to the side. Sheree summoned Martell for the initial conversation. That's where it began, because Sheree brought him into the conversation. Then when they reconvened because they had to go see Candy, and then it came back up again, that's when he inserted himself. Because Sheree said it was an ambush. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. We're not going to do that. And Sheree wants her to be held accountable for her actions, but we're not going to hold Martell accountable for his. And Sheree's whole thing is, so you're not going to hold yourself accountable for getting in his face. Now, for that, yeah, I really didn't agree with that. But hey, again, it's going up from there. But I don't feel that should have happened, because things could have easily took a turn. But hey, whatever. They're both defending themselves, right? And she says that he was being abusive. And I know a lot of people got mad. He was being verbally abusive towards Kenya. Like, y'all not going to convince me that he wasn't. And it's one of those where, yeah, he popped it off because you can feel away and all that. But all that not cussing, but yelling he was doing at her, putting the phone in her face in a real aggressive manner, and then alluding to her being a hoe. That ain't cool. I'm sorry. And I'm going to side with Kenya. It just is what it is. And that's the hill that I'm willing to die on. So that's just that. And Sheree's whole thing is, we need to stop labeling these black men. Okay. Well, that's my review. This is longer than what it should be. I'm going to take notes for this week's episode. Hopefully I can condense it, because I'm just on here talking. But thank you all so much for watching. Catch us tonight for the What You Like and Not panel on Really Be TV's channel. Stay tuned for the review for this week's episode. Rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to you all later. Peace.